call me Taj. I'm really excited to be here today to talk about some of the ways that I use storytelling in art. In this video series, I'll show you some techniques and strategies that I use for my own storytelling, as well as some different formats in general that you can try experimenting with. I'll walk you through making one of my favorite book forms, the accordion fold. I'll show you how I develop different character drawings, and I'll also show you some of the ways that I plan out my storytelling. Keep in mind that I don't want you to feel limited to these methods at all. The best part about storytelling for me is that everyone has a different way of telling their own story, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. So I'm really excited for all of you to explore different storytelling methods together and figure out which things are most exciting for you. Whether it's in drawings, film, writing, sculpture, combinations of those different things, I love creating stories and I love seeing the stories of other people. I find that seeing other people's stories can teach me new perspectives, things that I don't understand. So when I see it through someone else's eyes, then I get a better view of what they're going through or how they understand the world around them. I also find that when I see stories that are similar to my own stories, then I can actually feel connected to someone that I don't even know in real life, and that's something really special. When I'm making my own stories, I used to get stuck by the question of, is this story important? I think a lot of us get stumped by how or which story we should tell or what's a good story, and I think every story is important. I think it could be more helpful to ask questions like, is the story that you're telling, did it make you feel something big? Was it a moment that you remember vividly? Did it make you really, really sad or really, really happy? Did it make you feel something complicated that you don't understand yet, but you want to understand it? Or maybe it was a moment or a conversation with someone that where you learned something new. So I find trying to find those moments and those stories more useful for figuring out what I want to use as material. When I take the time to write or draw those moments or conversations out, I also find that it helps me to understand them better. So if there was a moment where I felt something really complicated, maybe I got really upset, but I don't know what the reason for it was, when I take the time to write out that moment, record what happened, and then draw it out and use materials to replay that moment in a different way, that helps me get a better view of what I actually just went through. And that process in itself is really important to me. I want to quickly show you some examples of my work to get you thinking about different formats that and different ways that you can tell your own stories. So I have here, well, I call this one a book, but really it's just a small stack of cards. Each one is a dream that I once had, and you can pull them out like this and read them in any order that you want. Another book that I have is this really big drawing that I collaged together in Photoshop. I folded it up and I stapled it into a book cover. And that's my book. This next book looks pretty normal, but each page is actually folded over, and that helps so that the drawings I did don't show through on the other side of the page. So you'll see here, this page, it flips as one, but if you come here, you can see that it's actually folded over. And this book is a double-sided comic. I drew one side of the story, and when you get into the middle, you'll see it meets, and you have to flip it to read the other side of the comic. And finally, I have this comic, which I painted by hand. I measured out the squares that I wanted to work into so that I could scan it and edit it and then post it to Instagram. In these 4 videos, I'll be sharing with you a process for creating your own book. So in creating this book, you'll explore ways to develop character drawings, also different drawing techniques, and we'll learn some strategies to tell your own stories. The first step in this project will be to create your book. So I will now share with you a way to create an accordion fold book. My book is going to have 8 pages, and I'd really love for your book to also have 8 pages or even more if you're feeling up to it. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with trying out an accordion fold book. You'll need paper and pencil, of course, and regular printer paper is fine to try this out. And you'll need a glue stick, a ruler, and some scissors. So I'm using letter size printer paper, but if you like something else, you can just go for it. I want to cut this paper into half to get long strips. So first I'm measuring the halfway point on both ends of my paper. Then I draw a line between them. If you want, you can cut them with scissors, but I personally like using a ruler. Hold the ruler down firmly at the top and pull the paper towards you bit by bit. Strong pressure from your hand helps the paper tear smoother. Now we have 2 strips that we want to glue together. So we line them up overlapping slightly. Put an even amount of glue on each overlapping edge and then gently slide them together. I start from one end, making sure the edges line up, and then I press down the rest when I know it's where I want it to be. So now we'll start folding, and I'm going to fold right over the hinge to hide it a little bit. Push the paper right over the hinge and then line up the paper edges. When they're lined up, hold it down and press the hinge fold down. Now we fold the pages back again. Like before, line up your edges and corners before pressing down your folds. This helps your folds look cleaner, but don't worry if it's not perfect. Basic accordion book. I love it because you can unfold it page by page, or you can unfold the whole thing and look at all of it at once. Your book might have a little overhang like mine does. You can trim it off if you like, or you can make your book even longer. To do that, I'm going to fold it into another hinge. Like with the last hinge, we glue the end of another paper into it, and then you fold it back so it lines up with the previous pages. If you really want to, you can just keep going with your accordion book and make it longer and longer. You can get it so long that it goes all the way across your house. Making this little book. There's lots of ways to make books and many great tutorials online that you can find. It's also fun to just fold paper on your own and see what happens. Next time around, I'll show you how I develop character drawings by observing people. So for the next video, you'll need photos of people to work from, or you can use a mirror and draw yourself, or even better, draw someone that you live with, and you can draw them in real time. So in the meantime, think about a moment in your life that you'd like to tell a story about, and who was involved in that moment so you know who to draw. See you next time.